one. So, hello, welcome. My name is Lucy, and I am from Prague, Czech Republic, and I would like to share with you my experience in Women in Business. So, I'm 32 years old. I have a master in civil engineering and in architecture. So I have been always surrounded by men, boys during my studies. And I always thought that it's the easiest way to go because men are normally very easygoing. So for me, when I was studying in universities, I was like really happy that it was male dominated at that time, because what I heard from my other friends, which were studying with a lot of women, it was a lot of gossips environment, and was a lot of tricks and games. So I was really happy. And after the graduation, I actually moved, past 10 years, I lived in 5 different countries. So that's also formed me a little bit into the global citizen and into the open-minded person. And about 6 years ago, I got a really good opportunity in a manufacturing company for plastics, mainly in automotive industry. And I was very happy, so I got the opportunity there for 1 year as a trainee in management, and then I was promised to gain the position of project manager with my own team if I will succeed. For me at that time it was very simple. I thought, okay, what if I will work hard, if I will focus on my career, my performance, that's the simple formula. Working hard, good performance, good results, then I need to grow, right? And I need to get my success. So I was very, very energetic, and I was enthusiastic, and it was going well. All my colleagues were good. The only issue, which was not the issue at that time, was that I was the only woman in the office of 20 men in the Netherlands, so I was international, I was the only woman, but everyone was super nice, so I was really enjoying it. And after 2 years at that job, I got promoted, and at that time, that was the moment when I thought it was the best moment of my life, but it was the moment where the real struggles started. Because I got into the position with the same position level with 2 senior guys in the organization. So we were like 3 project managers with our own teams, managing across the world the customers, like the huge companies like Bosch, Siemens, Johnson Controls. And I was so happy, and first project we got together, when we were in the meeting, the men, they were really, although they were my colleagues and they knew me for 2 years, there was some strange thing, and I didn't know what was it. I couldn't identify it. I thought it had to be, I don't know, because I really, my performance was okay, everything was okay. But then I started to think, okay, now they are at the same level, so we have to cooperate, and if I say no, they have to respect my voice. They cannot overcome to me. And that was a real struggle. So I went to my boss after like 6 months, 5 months to share my struggles, that I cannot really cooperate with them anymore. And my boss just told me, Lucy, don't worry, they just have big ego. It will be okay. Just get along with it. Or don't be so enthusiastic, not be so enthusiastic. Be a bit more calm down. And I thought, okay, but I thought it was the moment that I started to underestimate myself. I always believed in myself in the past, and that moment I thought, okay, so it's not just only about hard working and the results. I need to change my performance in order to be, more acceptable for some men. And at that time, I was the only woman there, and I didn't know about any of organizations like this one, so I couldn't share it really. And I had a really technical background, so I thought I am wrong. I thought I really underestimated myself at the time. And once I met a customer, and she was a woman, and I wanted, because she was really nice and respectable woman, and I wanted to share with her my experience, if she's experiencing the same, because she was also one of the only women in her organization. And she was about 20 years older than me. And she told me, Lucy, you have to go with that game of the man. You are in the man game. You need to adapt yourself. You should really focus on lowering your voice if they need to and everything. And I was thinking in my head, that's not correct. Something is not correct. So when I was really exhausted, I took unpaid leave of 3 months from my job. I started to do volunteering activities, and I joined the global project management conferences, where it was like eye-opening, and I realized that this is it, like the same like a Women Economic Forum. We need to connect with each other and share the experiences, because there actually I met so many wonderful, not only women, but also men who presented their experiences, and they said we should always keep our identity. We should always believe in ourselves. So we should really, have a self-confidence, and that was like, okay, that's it. I was losing my mind past 2 years, but I need to focus on myself and not lose my identity. So, one of my favorite quotes is that if everyone would judge the fish by its skills to climb the tree, the fish would always live in her mindset that she cannot do anything, right? She's very, weak and not capable to progress. So I would like to share this experience with you, and I would like to ask you a favor, because most of you have successful businesses. That's something that I don't have yet. I hope in future I will have. Please support the people around you and let them to prove themselves and be themselves, because I think that's the most important thing in ourselves, to don't lose the sparkle, to be enthusiastic about something that we are doing. And that's it. So thank you very much for listening to me.
Thank you, Lucy. A nice first one, so congrats. So I'd like to call Monica now to share her experience.
So, hi everybody. This was our team 2 years ago. Lucy, a bit different than yours. I'm Monica. I'm the CEO of Center of Business Excellence, School of Economics and Business, University of Ljubljana. We are responsible for executive education, for lifelong learning, or maybe I can say we are a corporate relations office. It means we cooperate with companies. We are the bridge where the knowledge from the corporate sectors and university is walking through. As you can see, it's obvious I don't have a problem to work with women. You would be able to say I try to bypassing men. However, the next photo shows that I improve. This is our team today. I would like to point out at the beginning that I never made a difference between gender. I always like or love to work with men and women, and I always focused on knowledge, skills, and personal characteristics. Our team actually never did a difference based on gender. However, I have to say I have sometimes problems with people who are not transparent, with people who don't like to work, and you can find such individuals in both genders. I would not introduce myself regarding age, because I belong to the period that it's not so nice anymore. But I have to say I'm really glad that I have to stay young, because I'm working with millennials, you can see. And the only thing that I can say, I'm a young mother. Let's focus to the topic that we are speaking about today. What do you think? Do women negotiate poorly? Do women lack confidence? Are we too risk-averse? Do we value family more than men's? What do you think? Is this true? These are all quotes that we are talking a lot about them. These are quotes you can find all around in media, not just in media, but in research as well. What do you think? Is this true?
In India, people definitely negotiate very poorly. We will not ask for salaries, we will not ask for raises.
Women or women?
Women, yes.
Mm-hmm.
I think all of them are true.
True. Okay. Sorry?
They're also true of men, different types of men, but I think that women tend to be a little bit more risk averse because there's a perception that if we get it wrong, we won't have another chance.
The aggregated findings are very clear. There is no evidence based on research that would say that this is true.
Is there any research?
A lot of research is done regarding this, a lot. We are not different. Our brains, there are some small differences, but we are equal. However, something is different, isn't it? Can we cooperate with each other equal? What do you think? Do we cooperate? Yes? Perfect. There is research which shows that there are differences in behavior. We are not different, however, we behave different. When we come, for example, to mistakes that women do are evaluated different than mistakes from the men. Listening, when we have a meeting where both genders are sitting, men's ideas are heard more than women's ideas. When we come to feedback, leaders often give different feedback to women than to men. And when we come to communication, we know that men can communicate more self-confident or maybe more straight. And this, you have a lot of research that proves these states. However, to which area of management do these things belongs? What do you think? Feedback, communication, listening, leadership. At the end of the day, it's actually all about leadership. Do we lead on the way that we allowed all people, all genders, to live, to work in the equal workplace? Are we leaders that we lead in a way that everybody have the same possibilities? And are women good leaders?
Sometimes they are worse.
Sorry?
Sometimes they are worse. I just heard the thought not long ago when someone said that women with power are worse than men.
Also, men with power.
That's not true.
It depends on the character, yes.
The gender doesn't matter. It can be as fine if you're a woman or a man.
If you're there, you're better,
It can
right?
be one is equal, each gender. So
Did you know that 40% of workplace bullies are women?
Yeah, I can believe that too.
Did you know that these women bullies other women 70 to 80% of the time?
the free experience.
So I always try to ask myself why is something like it is? Why women are not on the top positions? Why women don't get a place as a leaders? Is there maybe a reason? Do we make everything that we will be a good leader? Look at these numbers. It's 2014 research. It's a bit old. However, I checked and it's still really relevant. Look at this. Gen X, this is our generation. 19% of asked people that don't like to work with women. 19%. In boomer generation, 16, however, a good time for us is coming. Millennials don't care so much with whom they are working. However, the information which is important is that in general, women don't like to work with women so much than they like to work with a man. And this is a fact. Let's ask ourselves what we can do. What is our responsibility here? What I can do? I always try to ask myself, what I can do here? What do you think, what we can do? I'm sure all of us who are here in this room, we are perfect leaders. But for example, the others outside. What can we do? What do you think?
Start from yourself.
How?
Ask yourself what you did wrong, and if you ever bullied, maybe you didn't even know that you bullied somebody.
Ask ourselves if we are the leader who really enable all people or our colleagues that they can work at the workplace the best they are possible to work. But how we do this? Can we improve our leadership styles? Can we improve? We have to empower ourselves. We have to learn. We can lead from a lot of different perspectives. We can lead from power of positions. This is a very often leadership style. We can lead from power of networks because we are strong. We know so much people. It's especially popular for Slovenia, for India not so much. But for Slovenia, we actually, if we are in 3 networks, we know everybody. We can lead from power of ego. Do you know ego? It's the same. Women have ego as well, not just men. But we can lead with the power of knowledge and skills. And if we will use power of knowledge more in our leadership styles, we will make a place for a better workplace. Because I'm sure that knowledge can eat ego, fear, jealous, and all behavior that reacts negative things for breakfast. So I would really like to say that it's really important that we empower ourselves, because at the end of the day, it comes all down to leadership. We are responsible to make a better workplace if we are leaders. We are responsible that we create an environment where everybody will be able to work. It's not important which gender, it's not important with which age, but important is that we try to lead from the power of knowledge. And I'm sure we will hear, we already know this quote a lot of times, especially in these 2 days. And it was really a strong one. And a lot of, when you listen to some TED Talks, a lot of times you can hear this. But when I prepared myself for today, I say, I will create one as well. There is a special place in hell for leaders who don't create equal workplace for all genders. Thank you a lot.
Thank you, Monica. That was really strong. So, give me a second to go back. Here we are. My dear Aditi from India, you're next.
I got this. Hello. Thank you so much for having me here. First, I just want to begin with how beautiful this country is, and it's really been a pleasure to come all the way from India and to see your country, meet your people. It's just been absolutely wonderful. So thank you so much for that. Thank you. So just before I talk about the topic today, I want to tell you a little bit about what I do so that you have some context. And after Monica's speech, especially, I'm grappling to really know which type of leader I am, because I really hope I'm not the leadership from position or ego. So I'm going to do a lot of thinking when I go back. So I was working in the field of finance till 2014. I have an MBA from Duke University in the US. And after that, like all people usually do from the big B schools, we, join companies like McKinsey and so on. So I joined that in India and started working there. This was in 2004. So at that time, I honestly didn't even think about this whole concept of gender equality, and I didn't think about even asking whether I was paid the same grade than my other co-workers were. In fact, McKinsey is one of the top employers in the world, so I'm assuming that they don't have those issues. But very quickly on, I did realize that a lot of what Monica is saying is true, because at that time I was starting absolutely from the beginning. And most of my bosses were definitely Indian, but there were a lot of women in the workforce, and the bosses were not so nice, and they were harsher, I feel, on us. Because they also felt that, maybe we are supposed to set a stronger example than the others. I started my own company in 2014, and I got venture funded very quickly. So I run a chain of resorts, boutique resorts, basically. It's for lack of, or for an easier way to explain, it's like an Airbnb, but it just has a lot of service attached to it. So we always have a caretaker. We tie up with local communities to, to help, to do activities and things for us. And everyone who works in that property is also from the villages that we, where the resorts are there. We have about 150 resorts now in India, and across maybe about 20 states. Thank you so much. So it's been a great journey. It's been, we've raised over now about $50 million in funding. And last year we won the United Nations World Tourism Award for Sustainable Tourism, and hopefully we'll be able to take our model to a whole lot of countries. In fact, again, Slovenia is one of the countries where I'm learning what you are doing here and how different it is, how you're preserving your natural resources, which is, of course, very important in India. Now, coming to the topic at hand, women in business, I must say that I'm more comfortable working with women. It is absolutely personal. It has nothing to do with anything. It's just that I'm more comfortable around them, I guess. So when I started in the beginning, with the intention of giving women all the hard lifting, all the people, the top positions in my company are women. So we have our lawyers women, our property acquisition team is women. So just so that you understand more about India, we have very remote places. So these people will be going out on their own to these remote places, and they will be talking to owners who they don't know before, and they will be pitching to them to give their property to us so that we can run it and we can take care of it. So these are wonderful women. They are out and about on the field, and like I say, that all the heavy lifting is really done by them. The head of our content and design team is a woman. Who else? Even in the operations, in fact, one of the senior leadership positions is a woman. So she is in charge of ensuring that all the audit and everything is done properly, that there is a standard to all our resorts. And honestly, if you look at their stories, they're wonderful. They have been able to achieve a lot for themselves. We say that India is very unsafe, but these women have traveled all around, and they have done it alone. A lot of the times I have gone alone, and I have found that even in the villages and all, it's been very nice. We've been received very nicely, and people are very kind to us. So that's the story in the cities and at the corporate level. Now I come to the villages and the resort levels. Now the mindset in India is very different. It's women don't come out of their homes, and they are supposed to take care of their houses, they are supposed to take care of the children, and that's about it. So to get women out of the workforce, out of the villages, to come to these resorts to work was a huge task. In fact, if you see the video that took us to the United Nations, it's actually a lady whose husband, we lost the husband. He was the cook in the resort, and because she had no other way to earn money, so she said, I'll have to go to the city to become a maid or something like that. We gave her a job in the resort, and she's a gardener because she has no other skill. But she comes in every day, and she's so happy because she's like, I get to stay with my children. Now, these stories are so far and so, they're very few in number, unfortunately. I have about 2,000 people working for me today, and out of those 2,000, only about 10% I have managed to really bring them out and to, get them to do something. That's a completely new story, and it's a completely different, place to take these women out, to understand what they come through, and that for me is the biggest challenge. So even though I'm a woman leader and I'm ensuring that there is equality there, it's just very hard to do at the rural level, and I'm very happy that there are lots of programs associated with us. The UNDP works with us very closely. We started our first resort, which is run by women. It's owned by women, run by women. It's in a very small hamlet near Bombay where you're going, and I wish that all our 100 resorts at some day can be something like that, so that women, even in India, you can ask Anjali how unsafe we feel mostly to go to a place which is offbeat, and it's very unlike how it is here. But if it's run by women and it's all women, we are very much more comfortable. So that's the story in India, and I really hope we don't bypass our Indian women. It's very different than it is in the West. There's still a lot of work that we need to do for them. In fact, just to give you a general statistic, we have about only 10 women entrepreneurs as of last year data in India who are venture funded. So the other women have not been able to raise capital. That's one of the largest, biggest issues that we face in India today. Entrepreneurs are usually not taken seriously, and like Monica said, we don't reach the leadership positions for whatever reason. So just wanted to share that with you. Thank you again so much for having me, and lovely to be here. Love to take any questions that you may have. Thank you.
Dear Aditi, thank you very much. We gladly hear a story from India or from another part of the world, because we don't necessarily have the chance to see how it is in India or maybe in some other countries. So thank you very much for sharing. And now I have to introduce you to Ms. Branka, who apparently knows me since I was a child, and we know that from now. Thank you.
Thank you. Dear ladies and gentlemen, hello. It's a great pleasure for me to have the opportunity to join you today. And it was a very big surprise today for me to see Petra after more than 30 years. I know her as a baby. Well, so it was something.
hours.
Exactly.
People feeling things that you didn't have. There is a lot of good energy in the rooms right now. So
Yeah, exactly. The question, women in business, working with or passing one another, I write an answer. I believe that this is no longer a matter of cooperation or not. All of us know that if we want to run a short distance, we can go alone. If we have huge plans, we have to have a team to reach the goals. That's my way of thinking, my way of working all my period. Lucy told at the beginning that she is fast 2 times younger as I am. But I'm so happy that today I am managing the Net Business Incubator in Rogaška Slatina. Have you ever been, who is from abroad, in Rogaška Slatina? No, okay. But I have to tell you, this is the second oldest health resort in Europe. Small town with 11,000 inhabitants, with famous mineral water Donat MG, and you are kindly invited to visit us. When we have spoken about our career at the beginning, I decided to change what I intend to tell you. I would tell you the story how I start my own business. When I start my career, I start in tourism as an economist. After that, I was in glass factory production. After that, I was in bakery and in metal processing production. And 15 years ago, I decided to open my own company. When I start my own business, I did not have any contract prepared to do. But how I felt in that time in the company, very bad. So I had to go out of the comfort zone and start my own business. I was so afraid. I couldn't tell you this. My daughter started the study. She was the Zlata Maturantka, how do you say in gold student. And I start my own business. Because all my career I was working in marketing, leadership, something like this, but I always avoid to go to work in finance. This is so boring. With the numbers, all the time in the office, awful. And then when I started my business, I made an appointment with my friend from Maribor, because during my study I spent the time in Maribor. And she said, oh, you know, we have to go in Manpower. The office was open at that time in Maribor, just for have a cup of coffee with them. And then there was one young gentleman, my colleague had spoken with him. And after that, he asked me, and what are you doing? I said, oh, I would like to find another professional way. And he was young, polite, and he said, oh, I'm quite sure you will find another good position for you. And then I have to be polite to him again. I said, oh, and I'm quite sure you will, in the future you will open a new office for manpower in another country. And you know what has happened then? After 2 weeks, the manager general from Manpower called me if he can visit me in Rogaška. I was so shocked. I said, no, it's no need to come to Rogaška. Tomorrow I'm in Ljubljana if it's suitable for you. She said, perfect. She said, you know, we are starting the debt collection business in Manpower, and we would like to invite you to join us. Debt collection. I finished economy, I was good educated, I didn't have any ideas what is this. My daughter was already started studying Ljubljana. I don't know what I said then to this lady, something, oh, I will ring you back or something like this. And I called my daughter, do you know what is debt collection? She said, never heard about. Okay, I said, me neither. I went to the bibliothèque and I found a book like this, debt collection. I made photocopy because I studied this material and start with it with finance. Could you imagine? That was my start of the business. But now, after 5 years, I was invited from municipality Rogaška Slatina to start with the business incubator. And a friend of mine asked me, have you ever heard about what is going there? I said, not yet. And today, I'm very proud. We did a great story in small town. 2 years ago, according to the annual reports, our young entrepreneurs did the turnover around 20 million of euros, and we have 220 employees. And we are glad about this. Thank you very much. How we support the women. Mojca joined us for the first time when we organized the first Congress, the challenge of women's entrepreneurship. And 2 times a year we organize something special just for women which has business idea, which has young companies. Why? To support them, to give them possibility to meet another young ladies. From not just from Slovenia, we are very good connected with the ladies from Croatia, Serbia, Bosnia. Now we are planning also the cooperation with Macedonia and Montenegro. Why? We have to empower each other. That's important. That's important. I don't think that in real business we have another possibility. No, we don't have it. We have to reach the same goals as the men, but we have to be very good in time, lifetime balance. Because I don't know, my mother is over 90 years old. When I organize her to the lady who is helping her with housekeeping, she is angry. She doesn't want. But I don't have problems with this. I have the lady because I'm not the super wife. I'm just a mother. I was a wife. I'm not anymore. I'm a good friend, but I'm not something super. But what I do with all my heart, with passion, and I enjoy to do this job, and that's important. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Branka. Thank you again for reminding me how old I am. Now everybody knows. Thank you very much. So, ladies, we finished with this session. It was an honor having you. Thank you for sharing your stories, and I think we can all find something